But Jacob DeGrom, after his rehab start today, is going to be ready to pitch for the Mets next week, barring any unforeseen side effects from today's rehab start. That is according to Buck Showalter. So huge breaking news this afternoon. Big, it is huge. We've been waiting for DeGrom to meet up with his counterpart, Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer is starting Game 2 of the Subway Series after that win last night, 6-3 of the Mets over the Yankees. He will start tonight against the 15 ERA Domingo German for the New York Yankees.
I'm more stunned by the news of DeGrom. I thought we were still so far away, and I'm worried more about September than I am August. I wouldn't say that.
Well, I'm more worried that, like with Max Scherzer, Max was the one who asked for another rehab start. DeGrom may have been like, this is enough. I don't want to do anymore. You know, he's been going for so long trying to get right. He's probably sick of it all. But I think Max Scherzer was a veteran enough to say, I'm not ready. And I don't need to push myself. You guys are in first place. When I get back, I want us to still be in first place, but I want to be effective and contribute. So, with DeGrom, I just watched the video. Fastball didn't have any movement. It was good velocity. A couple of these minor league dudes in the same inning hit back-to-back home runs off of him. So that's not an indicator of anything other than the fact that he's healthy and he's throwing the ball down the middle. Listen, the Mets are in a pennant race. They want this guy to be their go-to guy besides Max Scherzer. If you watch Taijuan Walker, second time through the order, he struggled last night. The record is a really nice record when you're on a first-place team, but Taijuan Walker, you need to get 18, 21 outs every outing out of that dude down the stretch. Same thing with Carrasco. Everybody that takes the hill from now until the end of September for the Mets, you want them to go out there and give you an opportunity to win because the Braves aren't going anywhere. They're just getting stronger and healthier. So the Mets, they have to match them every night the rest of the last 70 games of the season.
And I do think about the 6-team format in each league for the playoffs this year in these conversations when it comes to how much do you want to push, how hard do you want to push to get wins and gather wins, or do you want to be as perfect, healthy, 100% as possible? This time around, the first and second, let's call them seeds, they're getting buys. They're going to be sitting pretty for about a 5-game series, a full week to get healthy. So that's great. So if you want to, you're not going to catch the Dodgers, man. If you want to get in that second spot, you got to win your division and you got to be better than the Brewers and the Cardinals, basically, or whoever's going to come out of the Central. So the race is now. But the one thing that it scares me with DeGrom, because the day he left the field, the last time we saw him pitch a Major League Baseball game, wasn't much.
No,
it wasn't like something visible we saw. Wasn't he throwing a perfect game through 3 innings or a no-hitter? It was like cruising.
Yeah,
he was looking
fantastic.
Good.
Like the normal DeGrom outings, at almost every outing. I mean, people forget almost every outing this guy had for a couple of years was almost a no-hitter.
Yeah,
he was that untouchable. All right, so looking at the schedule, you got the Yankees tonight. He would be, if you gave him like 5 days off, maybe even 6 days off, could start next Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. I'm thinking probably Tuesday or Wednesday would be against the Washington Nationals in Washington. Absolutely do not want to bring this dude back the end of next week. You got the Atlanta Braves for 5 games. So I would say Tuesday or Wednesday, skip the Atlanta series. Then you bring him back at home against the Cincinnati Reds. Then he might get the end of the Philly series at home for his third start, which is really, I'm giving him 3 to 5 starts before I even start talking about, is this the real DeGrom from a couple years ago?
And I don't know how many innings or pitches that he is going to get on these starts. And
I think it's going to be really thin. I'm going to say 80 to 85. He's not Scherzer, and he's certainly not as healthy as Scherzer were. Scherzer had a little bit of an inflammation going on. He did not have the, stress fracture reaction on his shoulder.
Right.
I've never even heard of that injury. And that's just because this guy's a max effort dude. And he's a what we would call a tall drink of water. He's got such a wingspan, but he's got beautiful mechanics too. I mean, if anybody I show about how to stride, how to land straight up and down with the force and the leverage of where you're supposed to release the ball from. There's nobody really better that I've seen in the last 10, 15 years than Jacob DeGrom. So I mean, the thing with DeGrom is there's no reason to push this dude. Absolutely no reason. So that's why I'm saying Nationals, Reds, those are some good lineups for Jacob to take a couple of big league starts against.
Well, what I've noticed with Buck Showalter this season, and everyone says that the Mets are so glad to have him, and we all like him there because it's old school and he's doing things the way we grew up playing baseball. But the one thing that I saw last night that is different from everyone else is he does not follow this formula of pitching that we were talking about yesterday, that we've been talking about since the Kansas City Royals won the World Series. He doesn't just throw a middle reliever out there for 3 outs, get another one up for 3 outs, get another one up for 3 outs. Ottavino, I think he went through a couple innings last night.
Yeah, I think he had 5 hitters.
So he was the bridge into the closer, got a great start, one middle reliever into a closer. That's old school. And I think Buck Showalter wants to go that kind of old school even when they get into the playoffs, because look at the Yankees. Who the Yankees going to throw out there for their little one-inning pitchers tonight when who we got? Herman doesn't last through 5.
Herman's not going 5.
So, Buck Showalter is saving arms for September, for October with that old school approach of pitching and to win ball games. And when you got a guy like Scherzer tonight, you're expecting 7.
Right.
And it's going to be hard to pull that guy off the mound after 6. If you get DeGrom to what we were talking about, where he goes out there and everybody's expecting no-hitter stuff, he's going to fill up so many innings, and he's going to make it easy on Diaz, make it easy on those middle relievers, make it easy on that whole staff to be more successful in bigger moments.
I worked a few years with Buck Showalter over at ESPN. He's one of, by far, the smartest people I've ever been around.
On top of baseball.
On top of baseball. He's very cerebral, but he's also really funny.
Doesn't look like that.
He doesn't look like that. He's got a very twisted sense of humor. He's a very funny guy. But he's a down-to-earth common sense guy. And I think he's the kind of guy he's been burned in the past. He's not going to – and here's the thing that Buck doesn't do. I love Terry Collins, but Terry Collins gave you too much. Gave you too much information. Told the truth too much. Buck is more like a politician. He's going to just, give you those Derek Jeter answers till you're like, okay, I got enough to write my article, and he gave you nothing. That's Buck Showalter. And so with Buck, what he said today was, yeah, listen, we're going to talk to DeGrom. That doesn't necessarily mean it's etched in stone we're going to start him next week. We got to make sure that this guy, he feels 100%, because they're not treading water here. They're not like a 500. Right. They're first place.
Right.
They're right in the thick of things. They have 65 games left in the season. And they're right where they want to be. They've got a lot. I don't want to say they got an easy schedule, because I'm not going to say the Marlins are easy, Nationals easy, or the Reds are easy. They're all big league teams. But when you're talking about some of these teams that they're going to face in September, you got Pittsburgh, your Cubbies, more Pittsburgh. You got the Oakland A's. Then they finish against the Marlins, Braves, and they're at home for 3 against the Nationals. It's not like –
sounds like
so Buck's already, I'm sure, gone over this.
Yeah.
They've already mapped out where they want to try to line up their pitchers. And, they were probably saying, listen, even if we bring DeGrom back, that doesn't mean we can't go with a six-man rotation right now. And if we need him to skip a start, that's not awful either. So they know what's ahead of them. They know getting to the World Series is job one, especially with a new owner. He would love to be, flashing that all over New York. Hey, we got, in my second year, we got to the World Series. Steve Cohen would love that stuff. So Buck Showalter's trying not to screw this up.
All right, you've been saying this. DeGrom's probably going to be the best free agency acquisition.
Absolutely.
Great.
It's like a trade. This is like a trade.
Tonight's game is going to be special, just like last night. Scherzer on the hill for the Mets. Everybody's showing up for that. And what can Domingo Germán do to the New York Mets offense? We shall see. I think he can be very successful. The New York Mets offense, I still
not that great either.
I think they sputter all the time. Who knows if they're going to show up and score 10 runs, or who knows, they're just going to try to scratch out a couple. On the other side, I feel like Boone and company, or whoever makes lineups for the New York Yankees, set this one up for hits. DJ LeMahieu's leading off. Judge in center field, by the way, Hicks to left, Judge in center. You like Judge staying in center?
I don't mind him in center.
I think he's their best option.
He is their best option. Hicks is so battered up the last couple of years. They're just trying to keep him healthy in the lineup.
Yeah.
So it's really I don't think that you need the speedster in center any longer. And this guy's a decent enough athlete. I just worry about him breaking down ever. So It doesn't matter if he's in right or center. I always hold my breath when I see him come running in and making a shoestring catch. But listen, he's your best option because he's your best hitter in your lineup.
Sitting on 38 home runs after last night's home run in the first inning. Judge will be in the 2 spot. Rizzo has played DH because LeMahieu's on first because Torres is at second, and he'll be your cleanup batter. Carpenter after
Carpenter right field. That's
Carpenter right field. Got to do it, man. You got to do it.
Such a hot bat, dude.
Donaldson will be at third. Hicks will be batting after him in left. Kiner for left at short tonight. And Higashioka behind the plate for Domingo Germán in that 9 spot. But that's the lineup. And versus Scherzer, and let me just pull up versus Scherzer. Did you know LeMahieu 4 for 9 versus Scherzer?
LeMahieu's a good hitter.
Everybody else besides Judge 2 for 8.
That 4 for 9, by the way, that might be when Scherzer was a national and he was a Rocky
probably. Carpenter, this could be some St. Louis stuff too. 7 for 28.
Glaves 0 for with 3 strikeouts.
Only one with the home run is Mr. Rizzo off of Max Scherzer. On the other side, Domingo Germán versus some of these Mets, and not a lot of sample size here because of the American League National League thing. 6 for 9 on Canna. It's Canna. Because it's like
Henry, how to pronounce his name?
It's like can of corn.
It's Canna.
I'm going Canna. I'm sticking with my guns on Canna.
Like Conan the Barbarian, he's Canna the Barbarian. 6 for 9 is some nice numbers off of anybody.
And plus, he's got a home run off of Germán.
How about Lindor? 0 for 7 with 2 strikeouts. Lindor does not like whatever Germán's bringing to the table.
So you got Nimmo, Marte into Lindor, Alonso, Vogelbach.
Marte and Vogelbach have never faced him.
Let's go, Vogelbach.
Or Nito.
Haven't seen this monster of a man.
By the way, did you see Nito throw behind the runner last night and throw the dude out?
Yeah.
And that was incredible. And young catchers, that was the smart play. First of all, you don't want to uncork one down the left field line and give up a run there to the Yankees late in the game. But the Rizzo was not expecting to be thrown out at second base, was thrown out at second base. They argued a lot about did he bring his foot out the back. Listen, umpires aren't going to embarrass umpires. So if they don't have to change a call that they make on the field that they feel is right, they're not going to change it. But I did. There was a play at the plate. I think it was the Red Sox game. Xander Bogaerts dove. He was safe by a mile.
I know what you're
safe by a mile. Called him out. Kept the call on the field. So it's like, why do we even go to the stupid replay?
I agree. I love that.
Get rid of the damn replay.
Last night I love that play.
Yeah.
Double steal, Judge and Rizzo double steal. Wow, that was a gutsy call to even throw that out there, and then the throw behind gutsier. Yeah. But the tag was it Lindor, right?
No, it might have been the second baseman. That second base just absolutely assassin with the tag. It was fantastic.
Looking at it, thought he was safe. Going to the replay.
McNeil, I think.
Going to the replay. Got it right. Great call.
Yeah.
And then I felt bad because you know how I'm a hater on replay. I felt bad. It's like, man, we could have done without that. There's 3 minutes of my life I'm not going to get back. But there's just so much in last night's ball game. I was such a fan of last night's ball game. Do you got the horns ready? Because man, if you get these horns tonight, Dibs, if there's a situation where you got
because you know that it's like a dagger in the hearts of Yankee fans when they hear these trumpets.
Oh, and then you get this coming out, and then everybody who was at the beer line's like, "Oh, hurry up!" And they got to run out there. Goosebumps start, hair on the back of your neck, and then all of a sudden the door opens. And you know who it is. The Yankees don't want to see it. And the horns. Oh, the horns.
It's like a matador coming in.
You do not want DIAZ and these horns tonight, Yankees fans. This is the last thing you want to hear.
The one thing I do like about the Yankees don't have a mascot. When I see Mr. Met with a trumpet in his face, and I'm like, you know what? You don't want to be second fiddle to the Yankees. Mr. Met, it should not be on the dugout playing the trumpet. Just stop.
Ooh, you do not want this song tonight. You do not.
No.
You come back after a 4-out save. You ever done that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's not going to come out for another 4-out save. I can guarantee you that.
He'll Could
come
be a
out
different story tonight with the
maybe with 2 outs in the 9th inning or something. Because you listen, why wear this dude out in July?
Because it's fun.
Because you can. But I mean, hopefully the Mets have a big lead and they don't have to use Diaz. But Max Scherzer, first of all, and it's like Pedro Martinez. I miss guys like Pedro pitching or Maddox or Randy Johnson or Clemens or somebody like that, because it's worth the price of admission to flip on the TV and see Max Scherzer pitching.